Hello, this is Caitlin Vanderhave, and this is a staff presentation to look at the data overview for Bryan Elementary. The purpose of the data overview is to review the demographic changes of Bryan Elementary over the past few years, review the milestones data for grades 3 through 5 for the 2016 school year, as well as comparing that data to both Cobb County and Georgia data in all subject areas, and finally review that 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade mathematics Georgia milestones data as compared to the county data by the domain. We're going to start by taking a look at the school demographics for Bryan Elementary School. Here you can see Bryan Elementary's student enrollment over the course of 4 years, beginning in 2012 and 2013 with 798 students, increasing in 2013 to 2014 with 961 students, increasing again by 10 students in 2014 and 2015 with 971 students, and noticing a short decline in 2015 and 2016 with 955 students. Next, we will look at the student ethnicities, looking at the subgroups of white, African American, Hispanic, and students who identify as 2 or more races. Looking in 2012 and 2013, we see that there are 21 white students, 538 African American students, 218 Hispanic students, and 17 students who identify as 2 or more races. Moving to 2013 and 2014, 24 students identify as white, 643 students are African American, 216 students are Hispanic, and 26 students identify as 2 or more races. Looking at 2014-2015, we see that 32 students identify as white, 626 students identify as African American, 286 students are Hispanic, and 23 students identify as 2 or more races. Finally, looking at the 2015-2016 school year, we see that 25 students are white, 634 students are African American, 277 students are Hispanic, and 16 students identify as 2 or more races. We're going to be taking a look at the percentage of students who are eligible for free or reduced lunch over the course of 4 years. In 2012-2013, 89.5% of students were eligible. In 2013-2014, 89.4% of students were eligible. In 2014-2015, 91.2% of students were eligible. And in 2015 to 2016, 90.8% of students were eligible for free or reduced lunch. Receive special services. Beginning by looking at the subgroup of English language learners, we see that in 2014-2015 school year, 185 students were ELL. In 2015-2016 school year, 191 students were ELL. In 2016 and 17, we see that 202 students were ELL. Moving to students with disabilities, we see that in 2014-2015, we had 157 students with disabilities. In 2015-2016 school year, 162 students had disabilities. And in 2016-2017, 164 students were identified with disabilities. Moving on to the special services of EIP, In 2014-2015, we had 278 EIP students. In 2015-2016, we had 286 students that received EIP services. And in 2016-2017 school year, we had 294 students that received EIP services. Finally, looking at the student special services of gifted, in 2014-2015, we had 55 students. In 2015-2016, we had 57 students. And finally, in 2016-2017, we had 58 students identified as gifted. Teacher ratio over the course of 4 years. In 2012-2013, the student per teacher ratio was 12.2. In 2013-2014, the ratio was 14.5 students per teacher. In 2014-2015, the ratio was 13.6 students per teacher. And in 2015-2016, there was a decline to 11.3 students per teacher. This chart shows the CCRPI scores over the course of 3 years, showing the score of 76.2 in 2012-2013, 68.1 in 2013 to 2014, and 64.1 in 2014-2015. We're going to be talking about the school, district, and state comparisons on the milestones assessments. I first wanted to talk about standardized assessments in regards to the Georgia milestones, which take place in grades 3 through 5. This is a comprehensive summative assessment program that measures how well students have learned the knowledge and skills outlined in the state-adopted content standards. I also want to look specifically at comparing data from 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders at Bryan Elementary to the county data in the area of mathematics broken down by the domain. Please take a moment as a team to discuss what trends you see in the 3rd grade milestone data from Bryan Elementary, Cobb County, and Georgia. Each bar represents the percent of students proficient in that subject area of either ELA, math, science, or social studies. Next, please take a moment to review the 4th grade milestones data just as you had with the 3rd grade data. Last, please take a moment to review the 5th grade milestones data as you have with 3rd and 4th grade. Our next step is to really drill down the data, focusing on the mathematics milestone assessment with grades 3, 4, and 5, both at Bryan Elementary School, as well as comparing those scores to those of students in Cobb County. And focusing on the percentage at each achievement level on the mathematics EOG. This is with grades 3, 4, and 5 combined. We're going to start by looking at what Bryan Elementary performed at. We had 34.9% of students performing in level 1, 44.9% of students performing in level 2, 17.6% of students performing in level 3, and 2.7% of students performing in level 4. Comparing that to the Cobb County data, within Cobb County, there were 19.3% of students performing in Level 1, 36.7% of students performing in Level 2, 33.2 students performing in Level 3, and 1.2% of students performing in Level 4. We're going to go ahead and focus on the 2016 data and the percentage at each achievement level on the mathematics portion of the EOG with grades 3, 4, and 5. Beginning at Bryan Elementary, 31.1% of students performed at a Level 1, 45.9% of students performed at a Level 2, 19% of students performed at a Level 3, and 4% of students performed at a Level 4. Looking at Cobb County's performance, 18.1% of students performed at a Level 1, 35.4% of students achieved at a Level 2, 33.9% of students performed at a Level 3, and 10.8% of students performed at a Level 4. Percentage proficient, that's Level 3 and 4, on the mathematics EOG by student groups with all grade levels being combined, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. We're comparing Bryan Elementary's student subgroups to that of Cobb County, showing the percentage proficient. Please speak with your group about what trends you notice with Asian, Black, Hispanic, multiracial, and white student subgroups as they've performed on the EOG math portion. Next, I want you with your group members to take a look at the student subgroups of economically disadvantaged, ELL, and students with disabilities, with the percent proficient, that's levels 3 and 4 on that math EOG at both Bryan Elementary and Cobb County. Level of proficiency on the math milestone broken apart by the domain. Those domains are geometry, measurement and data, numbers and operations, and operations and algebraic thinking. The purple bar shows Bryan Elementary's average level, and the blue bar shows Cobb County's average level. Please discuss what you notice as a team. Third grade average level of proficiency data, please review the 4th grade average level of proficiency on the mathematics milestone broken apart by the domains of geometry, measurement and data, numbers and operations in base 10, numbers and operations with fractions, and operations in algebraic thinking, both at the Bryan Elementary level and Cobb County level. Last, please review the 2016 5th grade average levels of proficiency with the domains of geometry, measurement and data, numbers and operations in base 10, numbers and operations with fractions, and operations in algebraic thinking, both at Bryan Elementary and Cobb County. After reviewing the data, there were some strengths in mathematics as well as some areas needing improvement in mathematics. Starting with the strengths, I noticed that fourth graders performed at a higher average level in all domains as compared to third and fifth graders. There was also a greater number of students that are performing on a level 4 in the 2016 data compared to the 2015 data. Also, more students are proficient in 2016 in mathematics as compared to 2015. Please discuss with your group any other strengths that you noticed. Next, we're going to talk about the areas needing improvement in mathematics. The domain averages show that students perform overall at a level 1 in all mathematic domains. Also, third graders performed at a lower average level in all domains compared to fourth and fifth graders. Please discuss with your group what other areas needing improvement you noticed while going over our data. Discuss what we noticed about Bryan Elementary School. We're going to go over a quick summary of all of our subject areas. Beginning with ELA, our milestone data showed that there was a decrease in the number of students designated as proficient or distinguished learners from the 2014-15 school year to the 2015-16 school year. In the area of mathematics, our scholars were performing overall in a level 1. Fourth graders performed at a higher average level in all domains compared to third and fifth graders. In science, our milestone data showed a decline in the percentage of scholars scoring in the proficient or distinguished range in all student groups, with the exception of the white scholars, with an increase of 13.6 points, and students with disabilities, who showed an increase of 2 points. In the area of social studies, our milestone data showed a decline in percentage of scholars scoring in a proficient or distinguished range. Steps, please speak with your group about what next steps you think Bryan Elementary needs to have in mind. When thinking of next steps, please review the provided graphs for your grade level from the data overview. And some guiding questions are: what trends do you see in your grade level as well as the previous grade level? What is an area your team sees as needing the most growth? And what steps need to be made in order to make that growth?